Hi there, in my DCEU Explained series, I want to address the criticism or the claim of Snyder was going to give us in Justice Superman. This is strictly not true. In Batman v Superman, Bruce has a dream or vision where Superman was evil, and the Flash comes back and warns him of this, telling him that Lois is the key, which aligned with his dream of Superman accusing Bruce of her death. Bruce uses this to bring Superman to his senses when they resurrect him. Despite the warning, their Earth was doomed in the here and now. That's why he brought Superman back. Now, what was the big plan? Zack Snyder's original plan for his Justice League sequels definitely involved Superman falling under Darkseid's influence and becoming bad, but it wasn't meant to be his permanent state. It was a crucial part of a larger multi-film arc that would ultimately see him restored to his heroic self. Here's a breakdown of Snyder's intentions. The Nightmare Future. The nightmare sequences seen in Batman v Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League were not just random dreams. They were visions of a future where Darkseid had conquered Earth. A key element of this future was Superman succumbing to the anti-life equation after the death of Lois Lane. Lois Lane as the key. Flash's warning, Lois Lane is the key, explicitly refers to her role in preventing this horrific future. In Snyder's plan, Lois' death would break Superman, making him vulnerable to Darkseid's anti-life equation, which essentially brainwashes the subject and removes free will. So it wasn't Superman choosing to be evil, but rather he was being controlled. The plan for Justice League 2 and 3. Justice League Part 2. This film would have had largely focused on the nightmare future, showing the Justice League, or what's left of them, fighting against a mind-controlled Superman and Darkseid's forces in a desperate apocalyptic war. Heroes would fall and the situation would seem hopeless. The time travel element. The ultimate goal of this nightmare resistance was to send the Flash back in time to warn Bruce Wayne and prevent Lois's death. This is why Flash's message in the Batman vs Superman was so frantic and cryptic. Justice League Part 3. If the Flash's mission was successful, Justice League 3 would have depicted a more hopeful timeline where Lois was saved, thus preventing Superman's corruption. This would lead to an epic Avengers Endgame level battle between the Justice League, the armies of Earth, Atlanteans, Amazons and the new gods against Darkseid and his forces. In this final confrontation, Batman was even planned to sacrifice himself to ensure Lois's survival and Superman's ultimate redemption. So while Superman would have indeed become a villain under Darkseid's control, it was always part of a tragic and grand narrative designed to highlight the importance of Lois Lane and the ultimate triumph of heroism. The evil Superman was a temporary, albeit devastating, phase in a much larger story of a hero's fall and eventual rise. There were rumours of Bruce Wayne being the father of the baby Lois was carrying, but chances are that this was ditched due to her doing a pregnancy test around the time of Clark's funeral. So Snyder fans aren't pissed at Gunn or anti-James Gunn, nor do they worship Snyder. Trust me, they hated Rebel Moon. They're angry because Warner Brothers robbed them of what would have been a DCU equivalent of Infinity War and Endgame. With the Flash film after, which not only will start the reboot, but had the big reveal that the Reverse Flash was the actual brains behind it all, kind of like Kang or Doctor Doom, in the MCU. They wanted their favourite Superman to have a decent send-off. Jason Momoa got closure in Aquaman 2, and Henry Cavill just got kicked to the curb. And it wasn't even Snyder's fault it failed. It was because Joss Whedon's Justice League flopped. If they weren't such a bunch of beep and released the Snyder Cut instead, the results would have been better, as it had 71% critic score and 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the same ratings nearly as the new Superman film. So no, Zack Snyder wasn't giving us Superman Injustice. He was going to give us the most epic 3-part DCU Infinity War Endgame, with the Flash causing the reboot afterwards. So I hope some of you can understand the rage, because imagine if Disney did that to our beloved MCU characters or universe. MCU fans would be going mental. So please don't hate on the fans. Don't hate Snyder. Please show some empathy. Like I said, I don't trust Warner Brothers. It may happen to the Gunverse. What does make me laugh is WB kicked Cavill to the curb, and now he's become an even bigger name in some of cinema's great blockbuster films. For example, Mission Impossible, and people want him to be the next Bond. If his name gets any more bigger, WB is going to start breaking a sweat, and karma is going to bite back, unless James Gunn gives Henry a part in his world. Some fans have been asking for him to play Gunn's Batman. So please show some empathy, mourn and appreciate what could have been, and hold hands together and hope that the Gunverse succeeds and that WB don't F it up. And I would like to add, I find it ironic that people love the new Superman because of its message of kindness and so forth. Yet these same fans are getting off on people being upset that they were robbed of their beloved heroes. Yeah, sure, you really learned kindness from that film. And ironically, if it happens to the gun DCU, trust me, you won't get any sympathy back from them whatsoever. And I tell you what is hard for me now is to watch those films without feeling a pain in my chest, because Snyder's DCU was good, and I'll never get to see it finished. It's really upsetting.